Hello and welcome to week 2, Intro to Entrepreneurship. This video is very specific to the topic of opportunity recognition and how we can actually accomplish that. So some methodologies of opportunity recognition. There are essentially 6 methodologies for opportunity recognition. We're going to look at problem solution. So you start with somebody's pain point. What's bothering them, what's causing them pain, come up with a solution. That's probably the most common. Pattern recognition, you might be looking at a specific customer's behavior patterns. What do I have available to me? What resources do I have available to me, and how can I create something out of that? Look at market trends, timing, experimentation. I want to build something, I build a prototype, make some changes, build another one, and then finally maybe in the third or fourth iteration I have a final minimum viable product. And then we have the distilled methodology, which is taking some of the best from these other 5 and coming up with a unique methodology. So there are distinct methods to come up with. Before I jump into problem solution fit methodology, let's talk about the significance, the importance of being able to recognize opportunity. Why aren't more people successful? Why aren't more people successful in careers, relationships, whatever it might be? My personal belief, backed by some research, is that most people are closed to opportunity. They walk through their daily lives with basically shut down. They're not looking for opportunity, and so they don't see it when it's standing right in front of them. We have to adjust and become that type of person who sees opportunity everywhere. It's not something you turn off and on. You basically walk around with this subconscious mindset of, I am always open to opportunity. What separates the majority of people from, I'm going to use the iPhone example, from Steve Jobs. Not necessarily that he was smarter than any of us, but definitely he was receptive to opportunity. And then he executed or took action on those opportunities. So let's jump into problem solution fit. Essentially what we're doing here is we're looking at a specific demographic or customer segment. This is a nonprofit or for-profit, doesn't matter. You look for real problems with real people, and then you get feedback. How can I solve, how you have ideas, how can I solve that problem for that demographic? And then you get feedback on your solution to ensure that it actually does in fact solve the problem for that specific demographic. Pattern recognition, being able to spot emerging patterns across industries, customer complaints. So for example, if you were to do an internet search, what is the most common area of complaint for, let's just say, airline travel? Then that's something you might want to solve for. Now, it is problem solution, but you get to the problem solution by trying to recognize patterns, right? Next, we get to the effectuation, which is commonly referred to as the bird in hand. And what you do, you start with who you are, okay? What you know and who you know. So you start where you are with what you have and who you know. Given my means, what I have available to me, what opportunities can I co-create, okay? And here's the best example. The Airbnb founders used their apartment, air mattresses, and network to create a global platform that's now worth billions. So they had an apartment that was within their means, and then they transformed that into this profitable business which scaled beyond their wildest dreams. So many entrepreneurs have this attitude of, I need $200,000 to start my venture, so I'm not going to do anything. They just kind of sit and they become miserable because they're not living their life the way that they want to. The whole point is that you just do it with what you have where you are. Environmental scanning, trends and timing. If you are somebody who's really into technology, then look for macro changes, demographics, regulations, technology, culture. So you can do that by using Google Trends, reports, to some degree AI. Some of the data in AI might be a little bit old, so Google Trends might be a little bit more timely. Basically, you're looking at trends, and then you're going to try to jump ahead of that trend slightly. You should never follow trends. You want to learn what those trends are and then move ahead of them ever so slightly. So experimentation. Don't just see an opportunity, test it quickly with prototypes. So you see an opportunity, you come up with a solution, you build the solution, and then you test it with your demographic. And what they'll do is they'll give you valuable feedback that you can then use to improve your prototype so that whenever you do go to market, you will succeed faster. Now, when we take the prior 5 and we say, okay, how can we build something really cool out of this? You come up with essentially this distilled methodology. If we take all of these in one top real world methodology, it looks like this. Observe problems, connect patterns, experiment quickly. And Steve Blank, famous for saying, simply get out of the building, get out of your comfort zone, and go learn and go do. This is where I believe entrepreneurship classes are of value no matter what your major is or what you do in the future. Open your eyes. Okay, there is opportunity around you all the time. It's just most of us are too busy. We're not ready to receive it. We're not looking for it. We say we are, but it's like somebody who says, I need a job, and then they go sit down in front of a laptop and apply via Indeed, which is horrible, right? It's passive. But yet, maybe this past week, they met 3 or 4 people in passing that if they had recognized, hey, this person might be able to help me. But they don't because they're just not open to opportunity. So, open your eyes.